As most of the world already knows, sports are extremely popular. 85% of the world watches sports, which approximately translates to 6.8 billion people. Out of all those people watching, one team that nobody ever seems to cheer for is the referees. Despite their neglection, referees are actually quite essential in sporting events. Referees are there to enforce the rules, keep players safe, and make sure the game is fair. Refs didn't always exist, though. In early versions of organized games, players often called their own fouls, and often it did not go too well. As sports became increasingly popular over the 1800s, the need for a neutral force became more and more of a significant thought. In soccer, formal referees were introduced in the late 19th century to keep matches fair and reduce fights. In basketball, referees became essential as the game sped up and physical contact increased. By the time other sports leagues formed, referees became essential to how the game worked. During games, refs make hundreds of calls, but the only ones anyone ever seems to remember are the ones going against their own team.
Yeah, they're an obstacle. I don't seem as important. They hate me. I want to win. I don't care for them.
I see referees as a mix of an obstacle, part of the game, and necessary. Although I do think there should be a mandated monthly eye vision checkup. I absolutely wholeheartedly agree that players take out their frustrations on referees from time to time. A good referee is a ref that lets the players play. It's a physical sport. People are gonna do stuff. People are gonna push. People are gonna shove. They're gonna kick. It's okay. It's a physical sport.
I think referees are important. I think that without them, everyone would cheat and it wouldn't be necessarily a fair game. I think I've taken frustration out on refs due to the fact that I think they're calling things that were obviously wrong or unfair, and I tend to think that they can be biased. I never consider how hard it may be being a ref because my frustration takes over and all I can think of in my mind is wanting to win. I think refs get about the exact amount of respect they deserve. I think that they're well respected because yes, they do their job and ref the game, but also sometimes I think they can be very rude.
Okay. Do you think that... Oh, yeah.
Owl, meow, brown. I do think that refs are important, but I do think that they're an important part of sports to make them competitive, but also fair. I think it's less about the referee and more about the athlete's ability to process what they maybe did wrong or what their teammates did wrong. I think most of the time even if I've had a bad experience with a referee, I am very much the kill them with kindness rule. So I am just constantly being nice to them, even if they are being mean to me, even if they're not making good comments or they're saying stuff to my players. And sometimes when I'm playing in a sport and there's a referee there, I like to joke with the referees.
As sports became professional, crowds got bigger. Radio and television turned games into national events. And as the fan population grew, the referees received even more blame. Now, yelling at referees has become normal, sometimes even feels like a part of the game at times. At younger levels, referees quit because of the constant abuse from fans and even parents. Some leagues struggle to find officials at all. Referees make mistakes. They're not perfect, and they're not supposed to be, even in the big leagues. They deal with pressure from millions of viewers, but at the end of the day, they go home like everyone else.
Let's just give a shot at that, shall we? Shameless plug for the Philadelphia Phillies. I have been doing high school baseball and college baseball for 25, 26 years. Referees definitely have a negative stereotype attached to them. You've got a vested interest from a lot of these people, and they're biased, and they don't like at least 50% of the calls, as we know. Understanding human nature is the key to being an arbiter for an athletic event, an umpire. I've had a handful or two of players and coaches and sometimes fans or parents who are spewing the profanities my way. And fortunately, I was really lucky early on in my career to have mentors whose focus was on game management and how to handle that stuff. I did have one instance where I was kind of stalked as I went to my car, and a car drove up and it was slow, and I had a feeling, and some parent who I don't even remember from the game got out and was, verbally threatening me. Then there was an umpire who was a good friend of mine, who a player on my team got kicked out of a game we were in, and unbeknownst to us, that psycho player stayed, blocked the exit of that umpire with his car while the umpire was in his car, and got out with a baseball bat to get to that umpire, and that umpire went to his trunk and got a machete. So that ended that incident. I think there are two goals for any sports official. The first is for the players and coaches to feel great as you turn the corner to get onto that field and they go, oh, so-and-so is here today. And they're happy about that. They know that they can relax and put the game in your hands, and they can focus on what they need to focus on as a coach or as a player, and not worry about the official. I know I felt that way as a player, big time. And then the other thing is, the second goal kind of should be for them to acknowledge at the end of the game that, hey, that guy did a good job, or that gal did a good job, and maybe even a thank you. There is massive joy for me in umpiring these games and giving back to this sport. The interaction with the coaches, the fans, parents, and players, most of the time is absolutely fantastic. I've never gotten burned out, and at this point, my estimate would be that I have worked about 7,500 games, and hopefully with many more to come.
Sports are emotional, and disagreements are a part of the spirit of the competition. So maybe the question isn't, why do referees mess up? Maybe the better question is, why do we expect perfection when humans aren't even perfect in themselves?